IVM.
And presenting the IVM Likes, where the IVM staff sit down, hold hands and meditate. Then remove their clothes and discuss pop culture, things they like and dislike. All this because life is important, especially when you're lonely. New episodes out on the IVM podcast website, app, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Alright, please note that the language and ideas presented on the show might not be suitable for everyone. If you're under 18, make sure your mom isn't around. If you're over 80, why is your mom around?
You're listening to Cyrus Says.
Cyrus Says goes international with a Swedish lady who makes wine look easy. That's wine, not swine. Cecilia Oldne, one of the finest experts on wine, discussing the finer points of music, wine, and debauchery with me. And Cecilia, I'm married.
Why follow your auntie's advice when you can follow Cyrus Says on Facebook and Twitter to stay updated about the latest shows?
All right, Swachh Bharat Week, Gandhiji's birthday. Yeah, I still say Gandhiji to be safe, although I wonder whether you should use the prefix Mr. when you talk about famous people, but I'll go with whatever's the norm. We talked about Swachh Bharat during this week because it's all about getting India clean. The Prime Minister said that in 4 years he's going to keep this country or make it spick-span and really chakachak, to use a Mumbai phrase. I don't know how that's going. My worry is not so much the cleanliness, but the second part. See, in India, we never think about the second part. We always think about the first part. Keep it clean. Swachh Bharat is all very good. Keep your local areas clean. I'm all for that. But then where does the kachra go? No one's thinking about that. They just come and start cleaning. We'll clean, but where does it go? So I want a second campaign on Kachra Ka Final Sthan. Where does the kachra land up going? Think about that. Keep it clean, but also figure out where we're going to send the kachra. Coming soon, Cyrus Kachra Show. It's called The Week That Wasn't.
And that's what Cyrus says.
Okay, it's called, what the hell is the name of the show, Cecilia? I forgot. Cyrus Says, that's right. We welcome Cecilia, and Cecilia is from Stockholm, which is somewhere in Sweden. And I'm going to now try and say your surname, Cecilia, so you don't help me, okay? Because I know my Swedish celebrities, whether they're Björn Borg or Stefan Edberg, or that's it. Or Strindberg. Strindberg is Swedish, right?
Yeah,
or Scandinavian.
You
Does
got
it help?
that right. A good
I don't want an
pronunciation
India-Pakistan
as well.
problem, you know, when somebody says a Pakistani name and Indian name and then the other nationality is worried because they're close but not exactly the same.
No, I'll tell you if that's
all right.
the problem.
Cecilia, I talk a lot. So if you feel you need to speak and I'm, talking too much, you will abuse in Swedish. Can you teach me something so I know what you're saying? What's like mother in Swedish?
You'd say... Håll käften.
What kind of country, what kind of language you need us to think about the bad words?
Yeah, we don't swear that
Nobody
much.
abuses. Is it?
No, we're quite...
The Swachh Bharat campaign should have been started in Sweden. They're so clean, both mentally and physically. All right. So
okay, go for it.
What is the word?
Well, my surname is what you were supposed to pronounce.
No, I'm doing that, but what is the bad word?
Håll käften.
Oh, Shefton. I hope I can say that correctly.
Okay,
Imagine you're driving on the streets of Mumbai, or I'm just telling the other people, Mumbai or Delhi, and somebody cuts you go, oh, Shefton, and smile. So you abuse them really badly, but in Swedish, and they don't know. I think it's a great way to... I like this kind of thinking. Thank you so much. You've set the mood and the bar high. Cecilia's surname now will be tried by an Indian from South Mumbai who's never been to Sweden. That's me. I'll spell it out first. In English, it's Oldne. Is that right?
Correct.
Oldne, so you can try it at home as well. And the options are Oldne, Aldne, Aldne, or just Old. What is it?
Okay, well, you know.
What is
I
it?
wouldn't go for the last one
Oldne?
for obvious reasons, but Oldne is not a bad pronunciation. I think you have a very English touch to it. In Sweden, we will say Oldne.
Oldne, so there's 3 syllables to it.
Yeah.
How confusing is that?
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah. But I noticed that all Scandinavian people tend to speak English quite well. Why is that?
Because it's compulsory. We learn it when we're already 7 years in, first
is
grade.
it? So you learn English in Sweden as well?
That's what, it's compulsory in the schools.
Excellent. Fantastic. Do you learn Hindi?
I'm learning it here, but not too many people.
I'm still to learn it. Why are you worried? All right, let's now talk about Cecilia for a second and stop pulling her leg. Cecilia is, how do you describe her, part of the Indian wine revolution. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
You landed here at the right time, right place. But to look at your formal diplomas from Michael... So I don't have my glasses, so if I say all this wrong, please correct me. Michael Berglund, AB in Business off the Board. What the hell does that mean? Sounds like a J.R. Tolkien novel.
So that means that I've taken many courses in the business of the board, as in board of directors. And the reason is because I believe there are a lot to learn. And,
so there's a business course on board of directors?
Well, in Sweden, it's
a little ambitious, right?
Yeah, well, in Sweden, it's quite important that there's a diversity on a board with women and with the gender and with the religion and the races. And that's something when it comes to India.
Sometimes you could take that too far, right? We need a brown man, a black man, a white man, a green man, a woman, a transgender, a transbender, a homosexual, a heterosexual, a menage a trois expert. I mean, it doesn't end. A vegetarian, a Jain vegetarian, separate from vegetarian. There are too many. I think we have to stop this. I prefer a racist and divided world where it's very clear. You know where you stand. This is very confusing. There's no end to political correctness. Do people ever think about that?
Well, I think people have to think about, though, the importance of having a diverse board. I'm not necessarily saying it should be, on the women and the gender and the men front. But definitely if you have a lot of opinions and ideas and not the same people in the same outfit sitting with the same opinions, then, how are you going to run a successful
Evolved
company?
thinking from Cecilia. You're talking about philosophies being different. Who cares about that anymore? We just have to look different and represent people, whether you like it or not. But can we talk a little bit about your background here? Because as you can see, I'm out of my depth completely. I am with all the guests, but thoroughly with you. So you studied before, obviously, this board of directors stuff, which is a little sophisticated. Where did you start?
Well, I started in a small little city in Sweden called Karlstad, between Stockholm and Gothenburg.
Did you say Carlsberg?
Well, Carlsberg is beer, so I feel that you have a good, knowledge about alcohol in general. It's in Denmark. Well done.
Not bad.
Not at all.
I know my drug pushers and I know my alcoholics. Yeah, sorry.
So Karlstad is a pretty small city. My first studies were actually, the regular studies that you have in school, but then I got into physics, and I also got into athletics, and I moved on.
Strange combination.
Yeah, well, that's
I wouldn't
something.
see Isaac Newton, and sort of hanging out with Usain Bolt. Just doesn't work for me that much.
Well, I'm not
were you
the
athletic?
most
Were you athletic?
regular person. I was. I'm still am, if you can't tell. Well, obviously you couldn't, as you're asking me.
At this point, Cecilia is looking at her body, and I, as an awkward Indian male under the kind of suppressed sexuality that we have, I looked away at this lovely green bottle that she's presented me with, and so have the two men in the studio looking at each other now. So we'll have 5 minutes of awkwardness. Thank you, Cecilia, but you are very athletic for sure. I'll ask you that because so you were the athletic type.
Yeah, I was the athletic type.
And yet the studying type as well.
So I moved into very sporty profession, even it was a profession at that time, and that was gymnastic, and I became a top-level gymnast in Sweden, representing Sweden.
What apparatus? The pommel horse or the Roman rings?
That would be the men.
The floor?
The floor is also both
I don't believe in gender, Cecilia. All women are welcome to my apparatus. Okay. Sorry, I take that back. Yeah.
So the women should be on the rings too.
You mean the women don't do the Roman rings?
No, they don't.
I blame the Italians. They've been very sexist about all this. I didn't know that. I thought the Roman rings, everybody does the Roman rings.
No, they don't.
I must pay attention.
Well, men do that, yeah.
Okay.
So women does jump, floor.
What is jump?
Jump is when you jump on it's like a horse, but but it's not the same as the men. It's actually a different version than
what kind of sexism is this? You got one horse, they got one horse. I mean, why can we all have the same horse?
Well, we have different bodies and we have different...
I have a dream that one day all Swedish athletes and Indian athletes, male and female, will share the same horse.
Okay, let's aim for that.
All right.
So I did that, and I did it on a top level, and that made me travel around the world.
Top level?
Yes.
No, don't toss that aside. This is very interesting. So you were competing for the country?
Yes.
What are you saying? So you're an international level athlete?
Yes.
You've not even mentioned that.
But I thought you would see that from the look of me.
I've got Abbas working for me who went on to Google and took 6 lines down, and that's all you know how hardworking we are. We're 3 Indian men in a small room here in Khar. But yeah, so that now this changes the game. We will have to leave wine aside for a second and talk about this. So you were that good. You represented Sweden in gymnastics, in events outside Sweden as well, obviously.
Right.
Oh, good. So you were like a professional athlete.
Yeah, but I studied at the same time.
No, don't rubbish it like that.
But
everybody studies at the same time. But
5 hours, to be specific, a day is what I practiced when it comes to athletics.
5 hours
that was
a day?
Gymnastic and ballet, and it was dance.
Wow.
And that then
the only people who practice 5 hours a day in India are politicians, and that's a different sport altogether. So, wow.
So always had, that's where it started. That took me to Stockholm.
You won stuff? Did you win?
Well, I'm a very bad loser, if I put it that way.
No, I just want to know, did you win like any tournament we know? Was it like,
Well, I won. I mean, this was when I was 12, 13, 14, so it was it wasn't the It was the junior, not the senior championships, but I won. I won many dance and gymnastics.
So why didn't you carry on with that if you were that good?
Because different reasons, but I did get an injury. I got an injury in my hip, which meant that I couldn't...
Don't look at your hip because it makes us all awkward. Now we'll just all look upstairs.
But you're asking me questions that I've never really...
Scandinavian society is very different from ours, for those who don't know. They're just very easygoing about all these things. And men and women don't, pay attention to anything. I mean, it's all normal. You could be naked and have a conversation. Nobody will get, But here in our country, my God, woman mentions hip. Pretty woman, oof, revolution. And then there'll be a counter-revolution for political correctness as well, which is now driving us mad. I interrupt you. So very interesting. So you had a proper career as an athlete. You were really at the top of your game. Then you got an injury, and that sort of laid you, took you away from the sport.
Then I had to look at, what are my options now. And at that time, I already spent a lot of time in Stockholm, and I started my studies then in Stockholm, which is the capital, because I fell in love with this beautiful city, which is bigger than the city that I was from. And having had a taste of that... I stayed. I did my studies there, and then I moved to Gothenburg and continued my studies in international business. Then I moved to London. Then
you never thought you'd go back to gymnastics after that, once the injury heals and stuff.
No, I wasn't. No, I wouldn't. No, because I'm very competitive. So going back to gymnastics on any part, particular, on the level that I wanted to be at, didn't make sense for me. Because if I would be the second or the third, then.
But that must be quite a jump, also, no? If that was part of your life and you were doing well at it, and then to just turn your back on it. In one go?
It was, and on that note, because it was a very big part, and it was a control for me. I then had to get into some other kind of a control, and that was then studies, and I studied.
By control, do you mean status?
Control, I think, more in terms of doing something, and I spent a lot of time then after that studying and taking courses in different cities.
So is it the self-esteem you're talking about? The self-esteem that you had,
Yeah, I think that the drive to still do something that was different and to stand out, and to also keep me traveling around the world, because that the gymnastic actually did. So then I started studying, and I went to London. I studied business in London, and then I went to France, where I was going to study. Continue my language studies, and I didn't necessarily enjoy my time in France, and then instead I went to Africa.
Although you pronounce it correctly.
In English, France.
Yeah. So how many languages do you speak?
Well, I speak Swedish, I speak English, I speak French, and I'm learning Hindi.
Excellent. So can you abuse me in all four? I mean, that'll be like a real test. Come on. And there'll be someone who can correct it. Someone else, a four-language expert somewhere in the world, will be like, wrong, right?
Okay, so Swedish, I'll say...
You're not a very bad person. Huh? It doesn't come naturally to you. If you asked me this question, I'd have abused everyone for 20 minutes.
Yeah. Okay,
so disappointed in your meanness. You must get more mean.
Okay, well, I work on it. Maybe after a glass of wine, that would open up a little bit
that's
more.
Right. So now I don't want to fast forward.
Yeah, no, I'll do it for you. So in Swedish, we'll say fitta.
Fitta?
Yeah, in
what is
English.
That, a pedophile?
Something similar to it. We didn't say that I'd necessarily going to get into that, but if you do say it, you won't be very popular at all in Sweden, I'll tell you that.
God.
In English, you'll say... Yeah, I'd say the...
Listen, that's a very famous name in Urdu now. So a cricketer with the same name, so be careful. Different cultures, different meanings, yeah. Huh.
In French, you'll say...
they don't have bad words. They just look at you in a bad way, don't they? Such a lovely language.
I'll just say merde.
Yeah. I think the tone is such that it doesn't sound bad even when it's a bad word.
Yeah, it sounds like merde.
You bloody bastard. It sounds beautiful. Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
And in Hindi, I would say...
Good test for us. This is one we're experts at. Come on. Not bad. Not bad. You sound like a girl from Kushrubag. Not too far away from anyone here in Mumbai. Excellent.
Okay.
I suppose living in Mumbai, you better arm yourself with these words going through the streets. So fair enough. We'll come to all that in a bit. I want to just quickly understand now that you've gone to business school, is it? Language school in France, and then ultimately where?
In France, I was in Nice.
As in, what was your diploma and degrees in the end?
International business, and in France, I studied French.
Okay,
so it was like a proficiency in France.
Okay.
But I didn't like France, I moved to Africa.
How can you say that?
Well, I'll take it back. I didn't like my time. I do love France. I love the people. I love the food. I love the nature.
Victor Hugo.
Okay, I hope no one from France is listening at this right now. But no, I do love you if you are French, and I do love France. But I didn't enjoy my time there. Maybe it just didn't, suit me, or didn't resonate with me.
Was it a boyfriend that went wrong? Or? Sometimes these personal things have an effect.
No, it wasn't. I mean, it was just that I didn't enjoy my time, and I think I just wanted to have something more a little bit adventurous. So I moved to Africa, to Senegal, and it's an old French colony, so they speak French. And I decided then to learn French in Dakar.
Okay. What are you going to do there?
Learn French in Dakar.
And that's it?
And, I also learned...
So you had this travel bug, is it? Is it fair to say that you like different cultures, you need to go from one place to another?
Well, I guess, I'd say that. Also, my family has been traveling a lot. My dad lived in Thailand, and my grandparents lived in Thailand for 30 years, so I think...
May I ask what the connection is?
The connection is
Tiger Balm? No, I think that's China.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about. There's sriracha, the sauce maybe?
Tiger Balm, maybe. I don't know.
If that's what you put on your body.
And Thailand is also famous for the massages. Now I'm thinking Dad didn't just go for massages, because that'll be like too many massages over the years.
No, he didn't.
So,
my grandfather,
my
grandmother moved there because my grandfather was offered an opportunity to be a part of the setup of Thai Airways.
Wow.
So he was training all the pilots, and he was setting up the operations, and he
so you guys are sort of global upbringing in a sense also, being around people who travel a lot and all. Because there are like two types of people. There are those who don't leave the village and sort of just live in the local culture and die there. And then those people who just can't get enough of everything else. So it's clear that since you've landed here, either you really like wine or you really like traveling, or a mix of both. So let's get back to your rise, your career. Now you're in Senegal, and then what happens next?
In Senegal, I decided I'm going to take a driving license. So I started taking driving lessons in Africa, and I realized that this is not a very good idea. For different reasons, I decided to go back to Stockholm. But that was one of the reasons, that I want to go back, and I just want to be in a more, a different environment when I was going to learn a few things that was yet to be learned.
Okay, now, I don't do narcotics anymore, so I couldn't understand that for a second. So you got a driving license in Senegal because it's cheaper? What was the reason?
I started doing my driving lessons because at that time my whole thing is that I wanted to get a driving license. I was in my 21, a little bit late when it comes to driving license.
Just generally speaking, get a driving license.
Yeah, okay. So but in Senegal, there are all options to get a driving license. It didn't resonate with me, and I went back to Sweden to do a few other things. When I came back to Sweden, I had all these studies behind me, and the experience that I had. And
what does a young Cecilia want to do? I mean, you're already in your 20s.
So I had no interest in wine or anything as such at that point. I came back to Stockholm, and I was with my godfather, and my godfather's cousin is a big entrepreneur in the wine and spirits industry. He asked me if I could join him and help him with business development and marketing and sales. Which I did, and we came up with some really exciting products.
This is all in Sweden?
This is back in Stockholm, in Sweden. And I thought that was, it was a very interesting journey to develop new brands. But then when I was going to sell the products to the clients in Sweden, I didn't know anything about wines and spirits. So that's when I decided to study and to become a sommelier, so that I would know more than the person that I was selling the product to.
Okay, now at this point you have to tell us exactly what a sommelier is. We've had a couple on, but it's always a little difficult to understand. Are you an expert on wine or making wine?
I'm an expert on wines. Wine is not only wine. Sommelier is wine, spirits, coffee, tea, water, and tobacco.
But what kind of bloody wine expert will say, I'll try tea now? It's just wrong. How can they go together?
No, because sommelier is covering all these different categories.
Is that where the word comes from? Sommelier, different things to sort of look at. Don't leave it.
The sommelier word comes from something more random. It was the person who was carrying what the king and the queen was
king?
Consuming back in the days. In what country, I do not know. But and they were also tasting before the king and the queen the product, so that they will not be poisoned.
So basically they were the tasters.
Yeah.
And so they had to taste all the liquids.
So they knew everything about, they could pick up if there was any poison,
That was a different job there, because if things went wrong, you sort of died.
Yeah.
Here you actually, you make or break careers or make or break markets in a sense.
Yeah.
Once you were a famous sommelier. Is that fair to say? Like a film critic or a book critic or a restaurant critic? The stamp that you get from the sommelier, or, the better ones now with the internet, I'm sure they play a big role.
Absolutely. Sommeliers play a great role in the world of wine and spirits, and tea and coffee. And what else? Two more, do you remember?
Yes, sugarcane juice and apple juice and beer.
Water?
Spirits. Water.
Spirits, I think, would become water and tobacco.
But isn't water neutral? Like
Well,
Switzerland?
there's so many different types of waters.
Are you serious? I've always... let me ask you now that you bring it up. So they tell you spring water and water which is treated. But when I taste the water, it tastes the same.
because maybe your taste is not as refined. It depends. I mean, if you're
How
like a
mean. That is the worst thing you can say to a sophisticated gentleman like myself. We'll take a break while I overcome the insult of being an unrefined moron who can't taste the difference between water and water. It's all water. It's all the same.
Okay, well,
We'll have this
I mean,
argument.
whatever you feel is the same, and whatever you feel is right. I think you should stick for that.
Cecilia, you've already insulted me. You can't take it back now by smiling nicely and, it's over.
But I did bring a bottle of wine for you.
You did, which I'll take back to my wife who drinks heavily, and you can understand that.
And on that note, I also brought you some juice in case you don't want to drink some wine
Yes,
today.
it's a very manly product called Yoga Pulp, which I will drink 5 to 7 times a day, so that one day I too will be a sommelier. We'll take a break and come back.
Did you know that Parsis in Mumbai, instead of being left at the Tower of Silence after they die, are now cremated? And why? Because a cow fell sick in the early 1990s. Did you know that the smog in Delhi is caused by something that farmers in Punjab do, and that there's no way to stop them? Did you know that there wasn't one gas tragedy in Bhopal, but 3? One of them was seen, but 2 were unseen. Did you know that many well-intentioned government policies hurt the people they're supposed to help? Why was demonetization a bad idea? How should GST have been implemented? Why are all our politicians so corrupt when not all of them are bad people? I'm Amit Verma, and in my weekly podcast, The Seen and the Unseen, I take a shot at answering all these questions and many more. I aim to go beyond the seen and show you the unseen effects of public policy and private action. I speak to experts on economics, political philosophy, cognitive neuroscience, and constitutional law so that their insights can blow not only my mind, but also yours. The Seen and the Unseen releases every Monday. So do check out the archives and follow the show at seenunseen.in. You can also subscribe to The Seen and the Unseen on whatever podcast app you happen to prefer.
Okay, we're back here, and that sound you heard is not Cecilia banging my head with a glass. That'll come in about 15 minutes. It's just simply choosing a glass that she's brought. Maybe you're going to tell us a little bit about glasses as well. There are 3 glasses that look the same to me, but then I don't have your eye. So I'm going to pour my yoga pulp into one of them.
Yes, should I pour some red wine?
Yes, please. Please.
I brought it for you. I'm
you
going to
be able
close
to-
it later, and
Yeah, yeah.
you can carry it home to your wife.
I
And maybe
will.
you'll at least smell it.
No, she's used to me being cheap, so an open bottle of wine is typically a present we give each other. Don't worry about that. Yeah.
Okay,
And
so
now you
have-
can't see this, ladies and gentlemen, because it's an audio show, hence we may be lying. But Cecilia, who is a sommelier and very much part of India's wine industry, is now pouring red wine, I think. Yes, red wine into her... What is the word for the wine glass? Chalice? No.
Well, it's a
Goblet?
wine glass. Yeah, this could be almost like a goblet.
Plastic
but
glass
it's not
from
as big
Premsons?
as-
Okay.
Well, it's Lucaris, which is a brand.
Lucaris.
Yeah, it's nice. It's actually made in Thailand. And as you have
Everything is
heard-
made in Thailand. You're like an Indian.
Well, do you see my first
I
name? Do
can
you
see
know where
that.
that is from? Can you pronounce
Noi.
that? Where do you think that comes from?
Oh, that is your... I thought that was just like a title.
No, well, it could be too, but
It-
it means though small, but it's... What is it?
Thai.
Very good.
N-O-I means small.
Yeah, it does, being small.
Wow. God, can you abuse in Thai?
No, I don't think they have words for
They're too
abusement in
nice.
Thai. Yeah.
Swadikam.
Yeah, somebody come.
All right. Cheers.
Okay, cheers.
You say... what do you say in Swedish?
Skål.
Skål. Instead of cheers?
Yes.
Okay, so skål,
Skål.
cheers, and Parsi say cheers and tables.
Cheers and table.
Cheers, tables.
Oh, really? I didn't know
We didn't
that.
understand the whole concept. We thought it was furniture. So when people say cheers, we're like, oh, cheers, tables, light, fan, just pointing it out. Now for the 8th time, I'm saying cheers. She'll never drink with me again.
That took a bit of a time for me to get, but now I got it.
Are we supposed to make sounds and stuff like in a Pepsi ad or because
Well, the first thing that you
Please
actually
teach
do
us,
if you're going to
teach
do
us.
it like a particular, we're going to, turn this little page around, which has my photo on it, because someone has printed it out for you, I can
Okay.
tell. And then you can look, it's actually 5 S's that you work around when you have a wine tasting. Mm-hmm. Can you guess the 5 S?
smell,
No, first you.
suck, see.
Very good. And
Sorry,
that was after
Indian-
me pointing
Indian.
at my eyes.
I went for suck. I'm so sorry.
You're going to suck that close.
I don't know.
We're
I
gonna try
didn't
that
have a good
later.
education. I'm so sorry.
Okay, so C first.
Yeah.
Okay,
Although
then.
C is
S.
Spelled S-E-E, but it could confuse some people. It's like the letter C. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, that'll be in Cecilia. They'll be
There
like,
you
okay,
go.
what do we do with her now?
There you go.
Okay, so first you have it towards the white, right? So you
Right.
see a little bit better. I can
What
see
am I
that
looking
this is
at?
red. I'm having a red wine, a Cabernet Sauvignon. You see this is very green. That could be maybe what? Kiwi?
Environmentally friendly wine.
Yeah,
I don't know.
something around that.
Okay.
Then you do the second S, which is?
Sip.
Nope.
Smell.
Nope.
Damn you.
Swirl.
Suck.
That's not even
Swirl.
a part of it.
What
Swirl.
is this? I've
Swirl.
seen this a
Swirl
lot.
it.
What does this do?
Swirl. So hold the hand on the stem
Yeah.
and just use your wrist. Not use the hand, just use the wrist.
Oh.
And then feel how it.
it's
But hold
how
a
I
bit,
bowl
you
the
have to be a
leg
bit
break.
softer.
Okay.
You can't be so,
I'm too
tough
much of a
with the
savage, I
glass.
think, for this.
Yeah,
Really.
be a little bit more gentle with the
Okay,
glass.
let me find my gay
You
side.
could put it down if you feel that you're going to, pour it out on yourself and do like this.
So 1 minute. This is like when you start learning cycling and they put those two things on the cycle so that you balance properly. So that's what I'm doing. I'm holding it on a desk
Yes.
and then swirling it, but that's not the real way.
Well, it
You're
could be. I
supposed
mean,
to
you, well,
hold it up.
you'll get there.
Okay.
But then swirl. Okay, and the
Yeah.
third one.
Now smell or suck?
Very good. Yes! But which two?
Oh, damn it.
Which one of the two?
Oh, okay, can I phone a friend? Because this is a tough one. Smell.
Very good.
Yes!
That'll be a star in the corner.
Superb.
Okay, then we have the fourth.
But let
so
me
let's
smell.
smell. What do you feel?
I'm not used to... I don't have much fruit in the diet. This is kiwi, right?
That'll be a kiwi. Yes.
Yeah, okay. It's a fruity smell. That's all I can tell.
No, I think that's great.
Yeah, I'm generic with fruit.
That's good. I mean,
Yeah.
it could even be wine could also be described as fruity.
Present government, please note, I'm not anti-fruit. I like fruit, but I just don't know enough about fruit. One day I'm hoping that we all live together on different fruits. That way we get to know each other. By this I mean nothing.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, I was trying to pick it up, but yeah. But this also has fruit. More dark fruits. It has a bit
Grape.
of tobacco, chocolate.
Tobacco?
It is made of grape
You got tobacco in your wine?
because it's been aged on oak, on French oak. So
It's
this is
very
a
confusing, yeah.
Cabernet
So if I've
Sauvignon.
given up smoking, am I smoking right now when I drink your wine?
Well, I mean, it could be a supplement, and it would be much healthier. Why don't you smell?
Okay.
Swirl first.
It smells better than
Swirling
my
open
green
up
fruit thing.
opens up the aromas.
Yeah, it does. Do I swirl it when I smell?
Well, you could swirl a little bit before because it opens.
Swirly, swirly, swirly.
And then sniff and smell. It's the same.
Could save so much money if I could not drink it then. No? You could just smell it all day. You'd never change the glass. You just swirl it and smell.
You know, there are some wines that you actually have benefits from smelling. Like kiwi is a characteristic that you can find in Sauvignon Blancs, which is a white wine. And if you smell a Sauvignon Blanc, that could give the same effect as having a cup of coffee because it wakes you up.
So it's a
Because
stimulant.
it's so fresh and grassy. On the nose, it goes up in your nose and up in your brain, and it gives that kind
Without
of...
imbibing it, just by smelling.
Yeah. So maybe even when you go out on, when you go out on a bar, you have a Sauvignon Blanc and you sniff it, it looks like you drink, no one's going to question you, and you might feel a little bit more
I'm
energized.
normally the worst behaved guy in the room, so I need to drink properly. Because I've got a reputation.
Well, red wine, though, could actually calm you down.
You think? I've tried red wine. I used to chase it with vodka. Nobody liked that. And I used to use it with a straw. So I would put the vodka in the red wine, then put a straw in. Now look, the French are different, the Swedes are different, damn Sula is different, but that's how society progresses when people come up with novel
Yeah,
thoughts.
no, I like that.
You don't like that. You're never going to drink
No.
my drink.
Well, don't say that. I mean, you first have my drink, then I have your drink.
Cecilia,
and
do
then we
you
can have a
swear to
discussion.
drink vodka mixed with red wine with a straw?
I don't mind.
Okay. We'll try it a little later. I love the smell. The wine. What is the
yeah.
wine called, the one that you're having?
Well, this is what I brought for you. It's Rasa, it's a Cabernet Sauvignon, which I think is the best red wine coming out from Sula.
Oh, all right.
So it's a Cabernet. I actually brought it because I felt that it was a bit similar to you.
Okay.
Do you feel? Can you guess
Does it
why?
finish quickly?
But, okay, well, have you any guesses why it possibly could be similar to you?
It's got back injuries.
It has a very good backbone. I mean, it's mature. I mean,
But you've never met me before. You just decided.
No, I felt. I mean,
I've never been called mature. That's one thing I can tell you.
I mean-
have I ever been called mature? No.
First and foremost, it's a bold wine. It's a bold wine, and I think you're pretty bold in terms of the way that you are.
That I am. That's BOLD, not BALD. That's coming soon. Yeah.
Okay, no, not at all. So,
Is there
yeah,
a thing like a
no.
bald wine?
No, not that, but what
Not
you're
a word
thinking
you
of
use,
as
okay.
such, no. So I would say much more bold. It's a Cabernet Sauvignon, and Cabernet Sauvignon is a grape that is also known as the king of grapes, and I think you're the king of comedy.
Oh, my God. It's amazing. You check your medication now. Make sure you're taking the right stuff. Okay, that's highly complimentary, I must say.
And rasa also means, I was reading up on it, because, I mean, we had rasa as a name because it means nectar.
Okay.
And also, well, people say, because Rajiv Samant, who you are a bit familiar with, his name is Rajiv Samant, but people say that also might be the reason. But it also means humor.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Is that true? Do you know that? You're just looking blank. This is my producer I'm talking to.
Yeah.
He has no idea. He just wants to drink the wine, doesn't want to know anything else.
So I felt that it could actually be a good wine for you.
I think you've done a lot of hard work. No one's ever done this for me in my life. I'm almost in tears.
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah. And I'm just trying to think, maybe my name sounds like Rasa, because the second half of my name is Sairasa. So it's probably Sinhalese.
No, I'm with you on that.
There you go.
Absolutely.
See?
It's meant for you.
We are clever minds without drinking. Now, what happens when we drink?
Oh
Find
my
out in 5
God.
minutes.
Okay.
Glug, glug, glug. Hey, we haven't finished the 5 S's.
No, we haven't, because we haven't even sipped it yet.
You know who's the best S? Kim Kardashian. Sorry. Where were we? So we've got... no, we haven't got to sip. We were on smell. You want smell, right?
We were. And
Let's
speaking about
rewind. In case you've just joined the program, we're rewinding to the 5 S's, as brought to you by Cecilia. You're Breaking My Heart, with Paul Simon and Cyrus Brocha. Yeah.
Okay,
So
so we're
its
going to do
first
the 5
was-
S's.
Yeah.
The first one is C.
See, and you tilt it.
And you look at it. I mean, I tilt it towards the white sheet because I want to see the color.
So
right?
you want to see the
you
transparency?
I mean, it's a bit difficult here, but if you just, you
Yeah.
know, if you just go up a little bit, go a little bit forward,
Stop
then to
saying
the
this-
right, to the
all these
left,
double meaning
and then you
things and
sit
putting pressure
down,
on an old
and
man,
then
yeah.
you do a little. No, I'm joking, but you look at it and
Yeah.
you see the color, and the color can actually tell you what wine it is, even it can tell you what the age of the wine, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you do. Then you after do what? Remember?
I suck, smell. No, give me
Yeah,
a second.
I'm doing it.
I swirl.
I
I
swirl.
swirl. I swirl. I swirl.
Great, that opens up the aromas in
Yeah.
the wine. Then the
Which I can do also on the desk if I have Parkinson's or, not to be rude, but
Very
people
good.
do have problems. If your handshake, for example. Yeah. Then
and then you have the pour.
smell. Huh? What? No, you can't change it.
No, it
It will smell. Yeah. So smell. And swirl and smell at the same time. It's almost like learning a dance form. I remember when I was
Okay.
learning a dance form, they always have this problem with when you have a mind which can only take in so much. It's very tough to learn dancing because after telling you one thing, they tell you the second thing, the third thing, then tell you to do all 3 things together, which I find very hard. If it's just the hand moving left, I'm okay, but left and right, and then the one leg, and it becomes too much. So
Okay, well,
I don't know why I brought that up. I
maybe
apologize.
you could
Smell and
practice a
swirl.
little
Smell
bit
and
more, that
swirl.
could help.
Then
And then we sip.
sip. And not make sounds like that. You can tell. The sophisticated wine drinker, Cyrus Brocha, will now show you how to swallow the wine. Not a good sign, Cecilia.
That's fine.
Come on,
because
you want to tell
that's
stories. There
fascinating.
must be people who just don't get wine, as in wine behavior and the wine culture, and just drink like that, or just.
I mean, whatever you feel is the way to drink it. But, I mean, the whole idea when
Oh,
you
so you're
sip
not a
it is
wine
to
snob.
enjoy it.
You're not a wine snob. You don't look down on people if they, sort of. What about people who drink wine like they would drink a beer? Like, just glug it.
Well, that's the way that they should drink it because that's the way they like to drink it. Whatever people like is what they should drink.
Really?
I really don't think that wine is snobbish. It shouldn't be snobbish because if you meet people in the wine industry, most people are pretty cool, including the winemakers.
But I
where
find
the
a
wine,
lot of, a lot of people are scared to try wine around people like you because they just think that they'll look a little awkward. It does happen. Let's say it's a painting gallery thing, an art show or whatever, and there's wine and cheese. There are people like me would be like, maybe I shouldn't touch the wine because I don't have the confidence. There's a certain unlike, say, beer or anything else where you just need a glass and you drink, wine seems to be like a learned sort of, expression where you have to learn about it and understand it. And you can see that in some of the wine drinkers, the way, as you just pointed out, the 5 S's, holding, swirling, smelling, and they actually do all that. So the people who don't do that feel a little,
No, but we're doing something that you're doing for a wine tasting, actually to judge the wine
So I'm
and to
not
see
supposed to
whether
do this in
it's
the club when I'm drinking with my friends?
No, okay, no, not at all.
So I don't, between every sip, do the 5 S's?
No, you don't.
So
No,
what the
you
hell am I
shouldn't.
learning this for?
Because they had a little wine tasting, and you were asking, "What is this glass? Tell us more about the glass and the wine and the
All right.
tasting."
All right, let's finish
Okay,
it.
yes,
Yeah.
okay, good. What's the last?
Okay.
there could be-
Sip. Oh, we did sip.
We did the sip. We just
it, what
did the.
Sip? What else? Pay the bill.
Actually, it could be different things. So if you do like a wine tasting, if it's a professional judgment and you taste 400 different wines, then you spit. Because if you... Yeah, it's...
Give me a minute. This means so many different things and it's brought back so many memories, all of them bad. Give me a second. So, I now spit out the wine.
Well, if you were be tasting 400 wines, then it would be a
to
good idea.
remove the taste so you can go to the next one.
Well, to just keep your senses, and because you lose a little bit of, you lose touch a little bit. If you alcohol can make you a bit, you can become high. And
this is why Britain exited.
Not be as good with your judgment as you would be if you were not drinking. And if you have 400 wines, needless to say.
Have you ever tasted 400 wines in one shot?
I have, yes.
400? There's 400 sips of wine?
Yeah, but in the same day.
Wow. Were you drunk?
Even if you spit, some of the fumes comes into your system. So, it's a happy day.
Okay, so when you spit, do you spit on someone? I mean, what's the custom?
Yeah.
They're like, I love your wine, monsieur. Pooh.
No? You'll have some kind of a spittoon, something that you can spit out.
This is India.
But that's
just
the one thing.
Large spittoon.
Then there are two other words that you can use, and you can obviously guess one. S.
Suck. Swallow.
Swallow.
So sexual. I can't do the show anymore, man. This show is terrible. My parents, Mom, don't listen. Cover your ears. She's too conservative for this show.
Okay, swallow. Or they say in France, this is savoir. So savoir means that you actually just enjoy the wine and, you do whatever you want to, but it goes into your system.
Oh, Sawa, I thought it was my neighbor.
Okay.
Sawa Kumar, but different.
Well, it's probably in your system.
Is there any other option now? Spit, swallow, and?
No,
drink.
I think that's if you want. suck, you probably want to have that, but I don't know what how you're going to suck on it.
Oh, I don't know why I said that. I'm sorry.
It feels
Can we
very
erase that?
dear to
That
you.
phrase is wrong. It doesn't work. It just sounds so medieval and like a Neanderthal trying to drink. I suck wine. Oh, no, we can't do it that way. All right, so
Cyrus the wine sucker.
Oh, I've been called worse. All right. Cecilia, now let's talk a little bit about you. Thank you for the lesson, by the way. In people listening, I hope you've figured it out.
Pleasure.
We'll quickly go through all 5 S's in one shot, which is first you... See. Then you... Too much pressure. Okay, I'll do it. First you see, then you swirl. Then you smell. Then you sip. And then you either spit if you're doing 400 wine tasting things, or you swallow if you really like it and you're just out with the guys or the group or whatever. I don't know why out with the guys drinking wine sounds wrong. Hey Pierre, I'll have one more. Okay, very interesting. Now let's just talk about you. You're here in India. You started out in Sweden with the business and graduated. Now you're in Sula. So just tell us what you're doing here in India and how long you've been here. 8 years? 10 years?
No, I've been here for 11 years.
11 years. Do you pay tax?
I do.
Do you have an Aadhaar card?
I don't have to have an Aadhaar card because I'm
As
Swedish.
we found out, finally, I have 10 Aadhaar cards. I'm trying to sell them now. And I have 10 Aadhaar cards with plastic. They're made of plastic, so they're illegal but legal and no longer legal. It's so confusing. Is Sweden like us?
Well,
Can you call up the
it's
Prime
all-
Minister and complain apparently on a one-to-one basis because just 8 people live in Sweden?
well, I could possibly do that, yes.
I heard that like in Scandinavia, in those countries, the prime ministers and the ministers, they go to the supermarket and you can actually see them. There's no bodyguards or anything. They just like...
No, they do have bodyguards.
They
do
do?
have Seppo, yeah.
You just broke my story.
But they,
Give me a drink. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, well, for security, that's still something that is required.
11 years, Cecilia's been in Mumbai. How did you land up here firstly?
Well, firstly, I was
You were drunk.
working. No, I wasn't.
You were offloaded.
Well, I was actually having a beer
You had a beer which started in Sweden and you landed up in Mumbai?
with wines. Yeah, I had a beer at a bar.
How big was the glass?
Well, it was a very tasty beer because it was after one of these wine tastings when I tasted a lot of wines at a wine exhibition in South Africa. It's called Cape Wine. It's 2004. And I was there because I was importing wines from South Africa to Sweden, to Stockholm. And after, again, this wine tasting, the only thing that I wanted was a beer. So I went to a bar with a journalist, Robert Joseph. And in this bar, he told me that there is a man that I met before. He's Indian and he's going to come and join us. So he came to the bar, and with him he had a bottle, a small little bottle. It was a Sauvignon Blanc, and it was a 2003 vintage with the sun on the label, and it had the name Sula written on it. And this man's name was then Rajiv Samant. So I tasted the wine and I thought, well, this is maybe not the best wine that I had.
Rajiv Samant, you suck. Got that down. Oh, it's okay. I know the family.
But it was a young, they started producing in 2000 and it was only 3 years after, so it takes a long time to produce good wines. White, not as long as red, but it takes time. So the wine wasn't tasting so good because it was very young, but I thought this is very interesting that they're producing wines in India and they drink wines in India. I wasn't very aware of the wine culture. I wasn't aware at all about the wine culture. Mm-hmm. Also, maybe because there wasn't really any wine culture in India.
But you know what I've got from the story so far? That Indians make wines in small bottles.
They do both, but I think, he was carrying because it's also easier to carry a small bottle to South Africa as compared to a big bottle. And he might have carried more to have more people tasting. But I was at that time also writing, a wine journalist, and so was the man that I was with. So he came most probably also to impress us on the wine.
Right.
And he, woke in interest in me. And on that note, we kept in contact.
But Cecilia, he didn't offer money? Because generally in India, the way business works is we always offer you some money for the relationship to succeed. Awkward pause as she thinks about how cheap the situation was then.
No.
No.
On the contrary,
okay, let's
think
praise
we offered him a beer.
We'll praise him a little bit now because after all he has been a pioneer. To change businesses or lines that he was in and come into wine. And as you said, you actually were there when it started because 2004 is when it started, isn't it?
No, it started. It started in 2000.
It was
but then
before that, but so you were there when suddenly there's this wine movement in Nashik, which happened.
Yeah, so
it's very much his baby.
Yeah, because Sula was the first winery in Nashik. There were no licenses to produce wine in the area before, and then he got that and he produced wine, and he really have together with his.
Is it true that he himself, because he really throws himself into his work, Rajiv Samant, he decided to look like a grape himself and removed all his hair and stuff? And that's just like a story, I guess?
I've never heard any.
Okay, I'm sorry, I made that up just to be petty and silly, but we'll go on.
Your neighbors, I believe.
Ashwin, his cousin.
Okay.
Will you tell Ashwin about the repair work if he can stop it? Because I don't work in the afternoon, so I need to sleep then, me and my aging parents.
Okay.
So if you can just, work early morning, like from 5:30 to 2:33 and then stop.
5:30.
No, 5:30 is when they're banging away, and that's my evening Netflix sort of sleep scratch time.
Okay. No, I'll make a note and I'll.
And I will buy Sula wine every month or so from my side to keep the business going.
Oh yeah, that's
one
what
small
was required.
bottle like the one he carried to South Africa to show you. Yeah.
Okay, so that was the bottle, and that was the wine, and that was the beer, and that was the interest that it evoked in me.
So how did you decide to come to India? You stayed in touch.
Well, it took some time. We stayed in touch, and we met at different wine exhibitions around the world, and I kept myself updated on India and Asia in general when it comes to wine production. And then I was offered a job by Rajiv, so he asked me to come and join him, and this was still in 2007.
Okay.
It took about 3 years before I.
Right.
Then came to India. Well, when I was offered the job, I thought this is very, very interesting. I had never been to India before, but I saw it as a great opportunity to come and be a part of a wine revolution.
What did you know about India before that?
I didn't know that much. I'll be honest.
Yeah, for sure. Otherwise, you would have come.
But I do like challenges, so I did accept the offer. And I met him in Italy at a winery. We signed a contract, and then literally 2 months after, I was in India, in Bombay.
And so you're with Sula for how long now?
Well, I was with them for 10 years. About 8 months ago, I stepped down from my role as a vice president. And I'm a shareholder in the company, so I still have a great interest in the company. But
you started something else now, right? My research team has put together 7 lines. I have the 7th line right here.
What did you get out of it?
Yeah, there's a thing called Sula something. It's written here. Soho House. The opening of what is Soho House Mumbai?
That's something that it probably... because I'm sitting on the committee of Soho House, which is a membership club that is opening for creative people in Juhu.
Okay.
So,
but that's not dangerous because if you just keep it open and say creative people, then people think they're creative. And that could cause I would be very worried.
People are trying to be very creative to get into it, but you genuinely need to have a creative background to get a membership, and it gets checked by the London team as well. So it's not it's literally
vetted
honestly only
London.
it's for creative people, and it's going to be a beautiful
for creative, as in
place.
Any part of the creative spectrum. Like, what does it mean? Like, can you be a comedian?
Where you're trying to go? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
we like people like you.
Really? Excellent. People like me. What does that mean? I'm no longer unique. There are millions of us. I hate those people. I hate them all.
But I mean, you'll be a lovely
so
person.
tell us where you are now. So you actually, I mean, you're being very modest, but frankly speaking, you put together this entire business. You pushed this business, and today wine is a serious business in India. Which, in 8 years, 10 years, in a decade?
Yeah.
Which business grows in just one decade from almost zero to very flourishing, and people looking at it seriously, and people wanting to invest, and others coming into the business, which is in a way a good sign. So, and you're very much part of that, the pioneering group that put it all together. So what is your vision? What are you going to do? Where do you go from here now?
Well, I'm staying in India, so I think there's still a lot to be done in the same industry, in wine and spirits.
But do you want to do another startup? Do you want to start with a new group and again put together?
Well, I'm an advisor, so I'm helping and I'm supporting other brands. What do I
You're
felt?
sounding Indian. Advisor is a very Indian thing.
Well,
Because it doesn't have to mean anything. It's
well, I haven't started anything myself as yet, if I put it that way. Nothing in this field, but
So are we going to see Cecilia as the entrepreneur now, completely?
As the entrepreneur.
Are you going to start your own thing? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm saying I haven't done that yet, and there is nothing in the pipeline in the next year. But now I'm working with brands and I'm supporting brands when it comes to startups, when it comes to business development, when it comes to new innovative ideas to help the business grow. And it could also be other products. It doesn't necessarily have to be wine.
And you work out of Mumbai?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Got it.
Yeah.
And it's beyond wine now, is it?
Yeah.
So it's like
even Sula was not only wine, but I was working with them.
What does Sula do?
We import spirits from all over the world, like whiskey and gin and beer from Japan and you name it. So it's one of the largest wine and spirit importers in India. We also have music festivals and
that's really caught on. The music festival, they have this
Sulafest. Very good.
It's very big.
Have you been?
All my friends have gone, except me. Everybody.
Why did you not go?
It's too far. And I don't do nights.
2 hours and 45 minutes and you'll be enough.
Cecilia, I don't drink anymore. What am I going to do?
Listen to music.
I hate their music. I like the Beatles. They play bullshit. I can't bear music after 1970. I don't want to hear it.
No,
and let me tell you, as a drunk, I'm okay because I can't hear what they're singing. But if I'm sober, I'll start banging people with chairs. I cannot bear electronic music at all. I have gone to Rajesh Samant's parties and I don't imbibe.
No.
I have felt like the caterer. The caterers are paid extra because they listen to the crap music they play. Let me tell you.
No, this was started because it was going to be India's first live music festival. It was not electronic.
All Indian musicians lip sync. It's a law.
No, it's not. It's only Indian. We have 75% coming outside of India. So that's
racist. I want my Indian musicians. I want Falguni Pathak.
Okay,
you want 50, me? I want Falguni Pathak and lassi. No more wine.
I mean, it's really like international. You have music from all over the world, and the whole idea is to gather people from all over the world and experience, live music in the amphitheater. I think you really enjoy it.
It's got a Woodstock feel. All the pals of mine who've gone there have said, because it's just
and is that electronic music, Woodstock?
No. It's a whole experience apparently.
Yeah, it is.
And outdoors.
You can do some grape stomping. You can
grape stomping. Yes.
You can get a massage.
What's the big deal with the grape stomping?
Dance. You don't like dancing?
I love dancing.
So
but I need.
You'll dance. We'll dance.
Can I be honest?
The moonlight.
It's not that. It's just that, you Scandinavians understand, but in India, apparently, we've just said adultery is not a crime. So I've got all these things to worry about. So it's not easy for me, because ultimately when women drink a lot of alcohol, men like me may become attractive. So you have to be careful. Now, coming back to the wine stomping, do you have to take off your shoes?
Yeah, well, to be honest, no one is doing wine stomping for wine production any longer. It's more the feel and the experience of how they did it back in the days when they actually pressed the grapes. Now we have machines for that, but it's a nice thing to do.
Also, maybe somewhere in France there were farmers with no hands. And so, there must be reasons. There's also a practical reason to why you stomp.
Oh, dear.
I'm so sorry. Was that wrong?
Yeah, that was...
Politically incorrect. Have a sip. Okay.
Yeah, I think I need that.
Before we wind up, Cecilia, lovely seeing you. But tell us a little bit about your life in India now, outside work. How do you, let's understand you're a lady from Sweden. You've been an international sportsman, as was revealed, early on in the show. And then you land up in a place like Mumbai now, and you're thriving professionally. But what do you do? How do you relax? Are you enjoying the nightlife, the social life? Do you have friends? What do you do in Mumbai beyond work?
Well, I do quite a few things. I
don't think that is a negative. I'm asking you out of curiosity. Really. It just came out all wrong. Unfortunately, I'm not a trained professional. I know. It sounded like, how dare you? How dare you? You lonely. Yeah, that's not it at all.
I have a cat.
You have a cat?
Yeah, I have a cat, Henry. He lives with me.
And you called him Henry?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I didn't necessarily name him. A friend of mine did that, but it's still Henry, and I love him. I still do sports. I also practice yoga. Well,
Running?
Occasionally, yoga is my.
I'm not the biggest yoga fan. I like the drink, but is it really a sport when you
No, I mean, I'm a sport.
lie on your back and spread your legs and scratch your head?
I think it's more a lifestyle, but I do practice yoga and meditate, and
I feel it's too slow to be called a sport. Chess is a sport.
No, I mean, I wouldn't call it. I'm more called the lifestyle. I wouldn't call it a sport.
I'd call it a
but I do
stretch.
in terms of activities, yoga, yes.
Are you good at yoga?
Stretch.
Since you have this competitive urge, I'm presuming that whatever you do, you'll try and do it really well.
Yeah, I'd probably impress you if I showed you something.
Okay, don't do that because I'll get sued. We'll get sued. Yeah. What else? So that's early morning. Then
there's a group of boys and girls, and if you call it.
What the hell does that mean?
Boys and girls?
Is this
men and women?
Is this some? Oh, I'm worried. Is this some adult website that I need not know about?
We play football.
Cult. Oh, you play? I can't believe it. You play football.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then
where's this boys and girls football?
we play at the St Andrews ground.
Oh,
in
that
Bandra.
where John Abraham and gang play.
Yeah, they play there too.
Okay, all right. fair
Or
enough.
Stanislaus. So we play football. It's amazing. I really enjoy playing football. And so
Are you saying that Swedish women are better than Indian men at football? Is that what you're trying to? Not a politically
no,
incorrect thing
no,
to
I would
say.
say
Cancel that.
Not at
Take
all,
a sip.
not at all. But we play very well together.
Are you good? Are you good at football again? Stop being modest. This is India. You have to sell yourself now. Come on.
Yeah, well, I think I'm pretty good
You're
at
the best
it, yeah.
in the group. All right.
But, I play well. I like to win. So, I'm
Okay.
quite, again, coming back to, God, I'm competitive.
No, but that's lovely.
And then, what else do I do? I practice some MMA, mixed martial art.
What are you saying? Now
So that
that's
I can-
interesting. What's yoga? Yoga, you just, with due respect, yoga is a stretch. Mixed martial arts, that's where it is. Did you meet Mike Tyson last week?
No, I didn't.
Oh, how sad.
That would have been something,
Yeah.
right? But I can still
So
practice.
do you contact proper?
Yeah, well, I'm practicing. It's
So
not
what does it
that
mean?
I've
They're
been...
training you, but you don't actually, do you hit and get hit?
Yeah.
And what about the face and stuff?
I mean, though this is actually coming from having two elder brothers and being hit when I was younger.
What is wrong with Swedish society?
Well, I have two elder brothers, and,
Well, how
and
can
I
they go
had
around
to
hitting
protect
you? Nobody
myself.
say anything. We're having a birthday party and the entertainment is going to be Cecilia. Come here. Talk.
Well, so I think that these are the main things. And what else do I do? I love to experience new restaurants. I travel a lot. I travel around the world a lot. I'll go to Bali and Thailand and New York as much as I can.
Do you miss Sweden at all? Or?
And then I go to Sweden. I spend a lot. I have my
So what is home?
Home is, Bombay, Stockholm, and Smögen, which is on an island outside of Sweden.
So she has 3 homes?
No, I love, of course.
Authorities to note, yeah.
I go to Sweden a lot for the reason that my grandmother, she is there. She's 99, so she can't come and visit me. My dad comes and visit me. He's, my dearest man. And he comes quite often. But he also lives in Thailand, my dad. So I have an opportunity to go a little bit closer and meet him.
We get a lot of emails wanting to know if you have a husband.
No, I don't have a husband.
Okay, single but practices mixed martial arts, highly competitive. So Indian men, perhaps not your cup of tea. Because, we're all trained to be like the most important thing in the family and all. We don't want a very strong female. It can really hurt the ego. Could you tone it down a bit? No, I'm kidding. I'm just joking. Listen, before we let you go, say something about the traffic now. Because you live like me in Mumbai and it's painful. Talk about, are you impressed with the metro?
Well,
And the metro work? Do you like taking pictures of yourself outside the metro construction sites and things like that?
Well, that doesn't really happen. But, when it comes to the traffic, I drive myself nowadays in
There you
Mumbai.
go.
And I think one thing that I find, though, interesting, and I would like to put it in a positive angle, is that when you drive, there is still, you can still drive. Even if it's a 2-lane, it becomes 5 lanes. But it's an organized chaos.
Creativity.
And I feel that when I started driving in India, I kind of felt like I got into the mindset of Indians. I felt that it kind of works in one way or the other. There's no rules always, but
What about
still.
honking? Coming
No,
from
that's
Europe.
the worst. No, I hate that. I hate it.
Why do they honk when the red
No.
light becomes green, like you're all colorblind? Why does everybody, the 10th car, the back, go bam, 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 bam? Like,
No,
what's
that's
that?
okay.
I hate
No,
that.
so I mean, there could be less traffic. There could be more organized, but still, it works in one way or the other. When it comes to the honking, it's something that is disgusting. I would love for that to end.
And final question, what about Indian men? Have they left good impressions on you? Other than Rajiv Samant and unfortunately myself.
Well, yes, of course. I mean, many men have.
Top 10 Indian
some-
men that you've met. You want 20? It's a difficult choice. 50?
Top 10.
I'm kidding. Don't answer that. Don't be ridiculous.
Well, I
You'll
was
spend
almost
hours.
about
You'll have to
to.
Google. We can't do that.
No,
Listen,
there is definitely 10 really good men around here.
she's so competitive. She wants to answer it just to teach me a lesson. Listen, Cecilia, has been fascinating talking to you. Oldne. Oldne?
Yes,
3
very
syllables?
good.
Oldne.
Super.
Cecilia Oldne. She's very much an Indian now. It's too late for that. From Stockholm to Bombay is her story. And there's a Noi at the beginning, which do you use that Noi or not? What are you called?
Well,
By your
depends.
close circle.
Some people call me Noi, some Cecilia, some call me Noi Cecilia, just to make it more
So back
complicated.
home, growing up, what would you be called?
My mom called me Noi and my dad called me Cecilia.
Isn't that annoying? Sorry.
Annoying. Look at that.
So unnecessary. Let's drink to that. We'll end
Well,
this segment before we go into our AMAs with the swirl, with the sea, and then the swirl, and then the smell, and yes, and
then the sip.
the sip, and then the spit or swallow.
Yeah, exactly.
More or less?
Very good.
No,
It's
not too bad.
been amazing to be here with you today, Cyrus.
Right. Celia, you're breaking my heart.
Yeah,
You must
I
have
heard
heard that
that
all your
one before.
life, man. God.
I still love it.
I hate Cyrus the Virus. Everything is their own poem. Hey, Cyrus the Virus. Yeah, okay, great. Fun guy. Cheers.
Cheers.
Hello. Welcome to another week on IVM Podcast. If you're not following us on social media, please make sure you do. Please. We're IVM Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. This week on Cyrus Says, Cyrus talks to business advisor and sommelier Cecilia Oldne. Cyrus learns some wine etiquette and they do a wine tasting on the podcast. Vartalab is back with a brand new season. Akash and Naveen sit down with producer Janam to recap some of their favorite moments from season 1 and give you a glimpse of some of the fun new conversations they have in store for season 2. On the Pragati podcast, Pawan and China expert Manoj Keval Ramani dispel major myths about China and the Chinese government. On Pesa Vesa, we have a festive special episode with Hansi Mehrotra, who gives some truly valuable advice on how to make better financial decisions. On the latest episode of Crocs Tales, tune into the last 2 parts of Story 9 featuring a bully, a coward, and a girl with a neat twist. And guys, remember, we need you to spread the word about podcasting. It's one of the most important things you can do to help us out. Let your friends know if there's a podcast episode that you like, that you think that they would like. Please do spread the word. And with that, let's continue on with your show.
If you have any questions for Cyrus, write to us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Or you can send an email to whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
All right, we have Abbas, our producer, joining us.
Hi.
Abbas also is a stand-up comedian, and he's doing this only until his gigs really start becoming profitable.
I was actually once approached to
Nice.
perform at Sulafest, but I think it didn't happen at the last minute, so I couldn't go.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
But
Well,
do you remember which year?
there's
Because we can
always
back,
another Sulafest.
We can back
Year before, last year, I think, yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can figure that out.
Yeah.
last year I wasn't involved because as I
Okay.
mentioned.
Why did you bother bringing that up?
Which is
She
why it
wasn't
didn't
involved.
happen.
But that's exactly. But well, there's always another. There's going to
Yeah,
be
sure.
one in first weekend of February 2019. So
Nice.
Oh,
I'll
and
probably get
what
to
does
that.
Abbas call you? Does he say Noi Cecilia or just Cecilia?
I've only been calling her Cecilia.
yeah.
Even I've been
Yeah,
calling her
I feel that
Cecilia,
too.
but
Yeah,
now
I
this
like
Noi
that.
is haunting me because it's
yeah,
there.
yeah. You can wake up in the middle of the night.
I know.
Oh my God!
What did I do?
call?
Yeah,
What did I
I
say?
can't believe it.
Okay, Cecilia.
Yeah. Cecilia works.
I think so. But the Noi is there.
Yeah.
And the Noi is there for a reason.
Yeah.
It's like karma. You can't run away from that. The why is it there? It's calling me. Noi. It's like reverb in my head now. All right.
That's nice, no?
Sorry, we have questions.
All
Yeah,
right. So the first question is from Venkatesh Rangarajan. He says, I noticed that 60% or more of today's stand-up comedians are either engineers or ex-ad agency guys. Is this a phenomena or do you have a theory on it?
My worry is, are their engineering skills as bad as their comedy? And then we're really in trouble. The bridges are crumbling everywhere. You got to be careful of that. No, I'll tell you my quick theory. I used to do a show called MTVU, University,
Right.
Before independence, when British were here. And we used to go around India shooting universities. And it was a real eye-opener for a guy from Mumbai to actually see the rest of India in the hostels and different college life. And I found so much talent in people in medical schools and engineering schools. They're funny guys, good singers, good dancers, good actors, etc., writers, whatever. But they were stuck in this middle class culture where the parents said, no engineering, no lawyer, no whatever. And they were forced to do something which is against what they probably could have done with their lives. There can't be like a species thing that comedians beget comedians, and a Rottweiler begets Rottweiler. It can't just be that, We've got to open it up and then, talent comes everywhere. For example, Noi Cecilia. Your dad was a diplomat, you said? No, that's
My
what I said.
dad is a doctor.
It was doctor. What was he doing with aeroplanes and advising airlines?
So my dad is a doctor. He's the one who also travels around the world, Africa, Thailand. He lives in Thailand and
Was he
Sweden.
working-
My grandfather, he was
sorry.
the one who was a part of the startup of Thai Airways.
Okay.
And that's why my grandfather and my grandmother lived in Bangkok for 30 years.
Okay, I thought it made sense to have a doctor with the airline because some of our airlines are so bad, the passengers need doctors just the moment they enter. So, that also would make sense. That's fair. All right. So I'm saying you didn't get into that line, neither medical nor setting up an airline for what it's worth. I mean, you went completely...
No, but still, wine is healthy and it makes you fly. So, I mean... Kind of
There you go.
She's just too clever. Noi cancelled. Only Cecilia from now on for that mark of disrespect. Yeah.
All right. So Akash Podar asks, what's the best way to wipe hands after a hand wash? Hand dryer machine, paper napkin, handkerchief, or your denim or shorts?
At last, people are asking the questions that should have been asked 100 years ago. And at last, we have now been confronted with the demons that destroy us in society. I personally don't wash hands. So I'm not very good at answering this question.
Okay,
and I despise germaphobes. I can't bear the guy who says, can I use your bathroom? Just before you're having lunch. You've got to meet people who say that, can I use your bathroom before they dine? Which doesn't mean they want to pee. They have to clean their hands before they eat, which I feel like just, spitting on their hands without drinking wine first. So let's Cecilia answer.
Yeah, she's you'll be the one.
In a sense.
Okay, so
you have the etiquette.
Okay. So I'd probably try to dry them off on my...
Friends? Or waiter?
I wouldn't use paper. I wouldn't encourage the hand drying machine for the electricity and the paper for the sustainable aspect of it. So I definitely do still wash my hands though, but ensure to do it in moderation. Can't believe you don't.
You won't be fed at my table. You can't wash your hands before eating. That's ridiculous.
So a handkerchief then. A little small handkerchief.
No, she said she just dried in the air.
I don't know what a handkerchief is, to be
She
honest.
did bird-like gestures,
little
like a bird taking off just now. Isn't that what you did?
I did the bird. I fly.
Which means dried in the air, right? Just dried. Now,
Yeah, sometimes you need to fix your hair, then I put a little bit instead, to put it down a little
Have
bit.
you
and
seen
then I
Abbas's
use it
hair?
like this, and then I use
It's
the
really-
water for that.
Yeah, that's not bad. But the hair drying machine is a big problem. Now that you bring it up.
Yeah.
Because I've always found it's all about timing. I don't know, in India at least. The moment you put your hands there, it doesn't come and the air doesn't start and you take your hands away, then it starts, then you go back and it stopped. It's just like this cat and mouse game.
Waste of time. Waste of time.
Waste of time.
waste of
And you
energy.
feel like a loser
Yeah.
over the machine.
Yeah.
Your self-esteem crumbles.
All right. The last question comes from Vinam Suri, but a lot of other people have also asked this question, Cyrus.
Okay.
What's the obsession with red T-shirts while recording, Cyrus Says?
No, so this is some of my pals play rugby at the Bombay gym, so they give me the clothes because I'm the only one who looks like a rugby player. You see, some of them they really don't. Then I have a theory. I wear free clothes.
Oh,
So,
and all of them
yeah.
are red?
Well, I have 2 red rugby t-shirts, 1 blue. I have 2 red running shirts. My wife runs, so she gets these free shirts, which become like a bra for me. It's a shirt for her, and so it's all to do with the free. I wear anything as long as it's not like pro-Nazi or ISIS or something like that. I'm okay. I can wear
It's
anything.
interesting with the red and yellow that you're also wearing today because red has
I think
a
designed by someone in
tendency
Sweden.
to awaken an action to make you want to do something.
Oh, really?
So McDonald's, for example, their colors are red and yellow. The red is because you're going to see it and you're going to feel like you want to do something. There is something that is awaiting. And the yellow is supposed to make you feel calm, and it calms you down. So you feel like, okay, I want to go to McDonald's because, it will suit some of my senses and it will also calm me down. But I think red in general is something they also put, if they're going to have something on sale, etc. It really attracts your attention. So I think you're maybe a little bit of an attention seeker.
You think that?
wants,
I wouldn't think
to
that.
make
Where would
people
that come
talk.
from? Why would she say that to me? Noi, stop it. Yeah, I think red reminds me of ketchup in McDonald's, and the yellow that I need to pee after eating in McDonald's. But to each their own.
I mean,
But
Ronald
please-
McDonald, then that means is a runner who calms you down?
Ronald McDonald, just another joker with a nice outfit. Yeah. But I just want to say, if you want to send us free shirts, we'll wear them as well.
Of course,
So,
yes.
what was the name of the gentleman?
Vinam.
You look good in red as well, though.
I look good in anybody else's clothes.
Okay.
All right. That's it.
Amazing.
Noi Cecilia, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you.
So what's your pet name then?
Great day being here.
Pet name Cici?
Yeah, people do call me Cici.
Cici. They call me Sissy.
Oh, well, that's a
Similar.
different thing.
Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps, please. We beg you, we need you. If you have any questions, write to us online and you can mail us as well. We will answer. We have a doctor in the house called me.
And that's what Cyrus says.
Yeah. It's IVM here. Let's go. We the IVM kids on the block over here. Just to talk, taking a break from producing all day, coming on this podcast because we got stuff to say. IVM Daily is the name of the show. Monday to Friday, we ready to go. Talking about stuff in our head. We might even talk about our favorite bread. Signing out, it's IVM here, the podcast network that's in your ear.
Catch IVM Daily Monday to Friday on the IVM Podcast app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Have you gotten yourself a gym membership and shown up only a few times? Are long working hours cutting your fitness goals short? How about you change things a little? Even a small effort can make a big difference. And I'll tell you how and what exactly. Hi guys, I'm Coach Urmi, and on the Kinetic Living podcast, you can look forward to some interesting stories of people who have changed the way they look at fitness after their kinetic journeys. Episodes out every Wednesday on the IVM app, website, and anywhere you get your podcast from.